Tennis, a sport of elegance and fierce competition. However, over the years, even in this seemingly pristine world, shadows of controversy have emerged. Doping is a topic that is always in the spotlight, especially with the still hot case of world number one Jannik Sinner. But this is far from the only time that such news has made headlines around the world. Today, we're going to take a look at the most controversial doping cases in the world of tennis. We'll begin with Maria Sharapova. In 2016, the tennis world was shocked when the Russian star, one of the brightest in the sport, was suspended for 2 years due to the use of meldonium, a drug that had been recently added to the list of banned substances.
From the ITF that I had failed a drug test at the Australian Open. I did fail the test and I take full responsibility for it. For the past 10 years, I have been given a medicine called meldronate by my doctor, by my family doctor. I've been legally taking the medicine for the past 10 years. But on January 1st, the rules had changed and meldonium became a prohibited substance, which I had not known. I was given this medicine by my doctor for several health issues that I was having back in.
I made a huge mistake. I stopped checking the list of banned substances on January 1st. It seems unbelievable that no one on her team noticed the situation. The Russian tennis player went from being one of the most important figures in the sport to almost fading into obscurity. Although her suspension was reduced to 15 months, Sharapova returned to the courts in 2017 with mixed results. While she won a few minor titles, she never fully regained the form that made her a world number one and a Grand Slam champion. From one tennis star, we move to another, Andre Agassi. For many, Agassi revolutionized tennis and helped brands fully invest in the sport. A name synonymous with greatness in tennis, Agassi confessed in his 2009 autobiography that he had used methamphetamines during 1997. But how did he escape suspension? Agassi wrote a letter to the ATP, arguing that he had accidentally consumed the drug. Surprisingly, the ATP accepted his explanation and closed the case. This scandal only became public more than a decade later, when Agassi revealed it in his book, Open. Despite this dark chapter, the American faced many ups and downs in his career. But it was after this episode, with a newfound maturity, that he achieved his greatest successes both on and off the court. He won 5 of his 8 Grand Slam titles after his confession, cementing his place in tennis history. A lesser-known case involves Croatian player Marin Čilić, but it's worth highlighting to understand that no one is immune to such situations. Known for his powerful serve, Čilić was suspended for 9 months in 2013, later reduced to 4, after testing positive for a banned stimulant called nikethamide.
This can happen to everybody, and was not careful enough, and then but still, from the other hand, when the case unveiled, it happened to be that ITF also was hiding the truth for me, and they were saying I was positive to something that I wasn't, and in the end happened to be that they were hiding it, I don't know in which reasons, either on a purpose or coincidence. And when we revealed the truth, I mean, the CAS tribunal released me. Okay, they gave me 4 months, but I already served 4 months, and actually I was out of competition for 4 months, and basically I was straight back next day to play, and that was very horrific experience. And what also Cass said, it was that this was for sure technical mistake, nothing to do with doping or nothing like that.
So how often do they actually test the players? How often do they Do they test you once a year, twice a year?
No, a lot. I think usually between 10 and 15 times a year, and we have to fill our whereabouts, which is a system where you have to give out 1 hour slot in the day, and every day you have to give out where you're gonna be that 1 hour. So I think the system is really working good, and I think it's on a good way for sure.
How do you feel about
Čilić argued that the substance entered his body through a supplement he had unknowingly taken. While his suspension was reduced, the damage to his reputation was already done. Despite the controversy, Čilić bounced back and in 2014 achieved the greatest success of his career by winning the US Open, proving that he could overcome adversity. A similar case involved Nicolás Jarry, the talented Chilean tennis player, who was suspended for 11 months in 2020 after testing positive for ligandrol and stanozolol, two banned anabolic substances. Jarry claimed that contamination in a supplement caused the positive test, and while he managed to reduce his suspension, the time away from the circuit severely impacted his ranking and development as a player. Since his return, Jarry has shown flashes of his potential, and in 2023, he won his first ATP title in Geneva. This year, he also reached his first Masters 1000 final, a sign that he still has the potential to make an impact in the tennis world. One of the most controversial cases was that of Petr Korda, a talented Czech player who won the Australian Open in 1998. However, later that same year, Korda tested positive for nandrolone, an anabolic steroid, during Wimbledon. The ATP suspended him for a year. But Korda chose to retire in 1999, bringing an abrupt end to a career that could have achieved much more. His legacy was tainted by doping, and his sudden retirement left many wondering what might have been.
But I don't have any reason to change anything in my past, because I didn't do anything wrong, and I can die in peace knowing that.
However, his legacy may find redemption as his son, Sebastian Korda, has begun to forge his own path in tennis, attempting to restore the family name. In 2009, French tennis prodigy Richard Gasquet was provisionally suspended after testing positive for cocaine. But how could such a substance have entered his system? It was from a kiss with a girl at a nightclub. Gasquet argued that the cocaine entered his system through a kiss he shared with a woman at a nightclub. The defense, though unusual, was accepted, and Gasquet received a minimal suspension of 2.5 months. After returning to the circuit, Gasquet's career had its ups and downs, but he managed to maintain a solid spot in the top 20 for several years. While he never achieved Grand Slam glory, his career largely recovered after the scandal. Martina Hingis, one of the most talented players of her generation, announced her retirement in 2007 after testing positive for cocaine. Hingis vehemently denied taking the drug, but chose to retire rather than fight the accusations. Though her suspension was brief, her singles career never fully recovered. However, Hingis had a remarkable second act in doubles tennis, where she won several Grand Slam titles, solidifying her legacy in both disciplines. And now we come to the most recent case. Jannik Sinner, who has been at the center of a media storm due to his recent statements about substance use in tennis. In an interview that left many speechless, Sinner stated that now, as an important player, he is starting to realize who his real friends are and who he can trust, adding that many seem eager to see him fall. Sinner also addressed the pressures and temptations that players face on the professional circuit. His words resonated deeply within the tennis community, as he spoke about the importance of maintaining integrity and transparency in the sport, emphasizing the need for greater vigilance to protect tennis from doping. My personal take on this case is one of uncertainty. I don't believe Sinner intended to take any substances to gain an advantage, but I also think that his statements may be a way to divert attention from his lack of punishment. In the end, many players have gone through similar situations, and almost none have walked away unscathed. Doping is a shadow that has tarnished the reputations of some of the greatest tennis players. For some, it was a temporary obstacle they managed to overcome, while for others, it marked the end of a promising career. These stories remind us of the importance of integrity and fair play in sports. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest content. Let us know in the comments what you think of these cases and whether you believe the punishments were fair. See you in the next video.